Good morning. Today we're going to do a real short video regarding how to make a drawing of an assembly in Autodesk Inventor 2023. So we have our completed assembly here. This is our puzzle cube assembly that we did in the previous video. And now we need to make a drawing of this file, this assembly file, using a drawing file from Autodesk Inventor. So you always want to make sure you finish your assembly first, all the way finished. And then we're just going to open up a drawing file. So we have our ANSI inch IDW inches because the assembly pieces, the parts were all in inches and the assembly was in inches. So we want to use the same unit system all the way through. Okay. Once we have our template open up here, we're going to act just as if this was a part file in the beginning. We're going to go to our base view and we're going to select this time to make sure that we're selecting our assembly file. So this is puzzlecube.iam. IAM is the assembly file. So we made sure to select that. We can see the viewpoint here. And of course, here we have the scale of what we need, right? So we'll hit OK there. That's our base view, is our front view of our assembly cube. And then we're adding the projected views just like last time, right? So we added our top view, added our isometric, clicking those positions in just like we do for a part file, right clicking and clicking create. This makes the three views that we need for an assembly. Again, we could add another view if we needed to, but for our case and purposes here, these three views are enough. We have our front, top, and our isometric view. Now, in assembly drawings for my class particularly, we do not add dimensions to an assembly drawing, as an assembly drawing is just to communicate how this was put together, what was used to put this assembly together, what part files, etc., that were used. So all the dimensions will be put into the part drawing file rather than the assembly drawing file. So we can get dimensions if we need to from these individual pieces, not from this assembly. Okay, so we projected our views in there. So we're not adding dimensions to an assembly. We're going to be adding a part list, which is here. Go to the Annotate tab, part list, which is going to give us a list in a chart form of everything that we need in order to create this assembly, right? It creates a bill of materials part list. So I'm going to go to part list. Again, I have to select the assembly here, the .iam file, and then hit OK. And you might get another window that you have to click OK on. So click OK there. And for our purposes in my class, we always put the part list here in the corner. We just kind of click it in and the chart forms there. Okay, so that's our chart here. In my class particularly, we change this up of what is in here. So once we add this part list chart, we can kind of move it. You see how like the mouse changes to have these like arrow icons in all these different directions. That's important because that's how you move the chart to another location, by clicking and dragging it. Okay, but we got to change these columns, right? So to change these columns of what is in this chart, we can double click on it. And we go here to column chooser. This is our first option here. So this column chooser option opens this up and it tells us currently all these four items here are in our chart currently. These are all the possibilities. So we're going to actually, for my classroom, for my class, for my students, the description gets removed. The author gets added. And then we go down to mass, that gets added, and the material gets added. And of course, you can add many different other things into the chart. And these are all just going to be columns in the chart. And then once we add those six, item, quantity, part number, author, mass, material, we click OK. And then we click OK. And here is our chart fully like made and done. Now we can adjust the sizing of things to make sure that like it's, everything fits in here nicely. But item one, there's quantity of 2 of them. Puzzle piece A, there's 2 puzzle pieces A in this assembly. Item 2, there's 4 of them, puzzle piece B, so there's 4 Bs in this assembly. The author, there's me, I made the parts, the mass of the parts, the material that the parts were made out of. So all of that being said, we have here the ability to see this chart and know what is in this assembly, the part list, what parts are there. Now, the last thing we do, because we only have two things we need to add. We need to add the part list, check, that's done. Now we need to add the balloons. The balloons mark and label which parts are which in the assembly, right? So again, this assembly drawing is being given to a person who doesn't know how to put this together like we do, because we put this assembly together on Inventor. If you've done the other tutorial video and the other assembly cube video. So we need to label these parts and what things are here in the drawing. So balloon tool, we click on that and we come down here and we can hover there for a moment and it should eventually tell us that this is puzzle piece A. It should. We'll see what happens, right? But if we hover there long enough, we'll know that this is puzzle piece A. And of course, we know this already because we've done this before, right? And so this is puzzle piece A. So we'll click that, then click one more time, and then right click to continue. And what this did is the first click made the arrow. The second click placed where this number 1 bubble is going to go, this balloon. And then we right click it to create it, and it made that. So what this is saying is this piece here is item 1. Item 1 is puzzle piece A. So the numbers of the balloons correspond to the item numbers in the chart. Okay, so that's puzzle piece A right here. The hardest thing about assembly files that I teach my students is identifying each piece. Again, you don't want to identify a piece more than once if you can help it. Being redundant, it's not necessary, but it's fine. But we need to identify the other puzzle piece A because there are 2 of them, right? And we cannot see the other puzzle piece A from this point of view. We can see it in these other 2 views. So this is the puzzle piece A that I've already seen. I know that puzzle piece A is the front of the cube and the back of the cube, this piece here. So I can see them there, but I don't want to add balloons here to my isometric because that's like the picture view of everything I need to be able to see. I don't want to mess that up with extra details and all this extra stuff. Then it gets more complicated and clustery and hard to read what's there. So I go to my top view. My top view does have puzzle piece A. It is right here. So this puzzle piece, these 3 polygons here, the 2 squares and the rectangle, these are puzzle piece A. There's that 1. Because from the top view, looking down at the cube, from the top down, I can see the piece that makes up the back of the cube and then can label it, looking at the top of the cube here. So that's the most challenging thing about assembly drawings, is just to identify all the pieces, right? Getting all the balloons, labeling all the pieces, but we know the number of them. We have 2 item 1s, puzzle piece A's. Those 2 are labeled, those are done. We go to item 2, puzzle piece B, there's 4 of them. We need to label 4 balloons that have the number 2 in it. So looking at this view, right, we have this side here. This is the right piece. This is the right piece side. It's this piece right here. This is visible. This surface on the front is visible here of this piece. The same is on this side here. So that's puzzle piece B as well, item 2. This top is a puzzle piece 2, which is also this. These 2 pieces from the front, these 2 squares, is this part file here, this puzzle piece B, the top. And of course, if we have the top, that's B. The bottom is also puzzle piece B, item 2. That is the most challenging thing about doing any type of assembly drawing. It is labeling the parts, okay? So you got to find them all. Again, you can leave your mouse cursor there for a certain amount of time. Again, it should pop up what that object is, what that part file is. It'll there it is. It pops up right there, right? And so if you're having trouble identifying what pieces are what, Inventor can help you identify it by letting the mouse just rest for a moment on that position, and eventually it'll pop up and tell you, right, what those pieces are. But once you have your part list, your labels, your balloon labels. That is a satisfactory assembly drawing for the engineering class that I teach, and that right there will allow you to communicate how to build this assembly from those pieces. And so thank you for watching.